The birth of Richard II, 1367, and its historical context. The year 1367 stands as a landmark moment in the annals of English history, marking the birth of Richard II, a monarch whose reign would encapsulate both the splendor and the struggles of medieval kingship. Born on January 6 in Bordeaux, the heart of English-controlled Aquitaine, Richard was the second son of Edward, the Black Prince, and Joan of Kent. His birth unfolded against a backdrop of political, military, and social transformations that would profoundly influence his life and reign. Let's explore the complex historical milieu of his birth, the significance of his lineage, and the enduring impact of his tumultuous rule. England and the 100 Years' War, the state of the nation in 1367. By 1367, England was entrenched in the 100 Years' War, a protracted conflict with France that had commenced 3 decades earlier in 1337. Richard's grandfather, Edward III, had propelled England into the war with ambitions of securing the French crown, leading to a series of remarkable victories. His eldest son, Edward the Black Prince, had solidified this martial legacy with his decisive triumph at the Battle of Poitiers in 1356, capturing the French King John II and amplifying England's dominance. However, the geopolitical landscape of 1367 revealed the waning of England's early successes. French resistance stiffened under Charles V, and the financial toll of maintaining armies abroad strained England's resources. Domestically, the aftermath of the Black Death, 1347 to 1351, continued to reverberate through society, exacerbating labor shortages and economic inequities. Legislative attempts to stabilize the workforce, such as the Statute of Labourers, 1351, provoked resentment among peasants and set the stage for future unrest. These domestic and international challenges underscored the fragility of the kingdom's stability. The societal tensions and external pressures that shaped the world into which Richard II was born were bound to manifest in his reign, influencing both his approach to governance and the crises he faced. The legacy of lineage, Richard's parentage and early years. Richard II's heritage combined military distinction, political intrigue, and aristocratic lineage, forging a unique foundation for his kingship. His father, Edward the Black Prince, was celebrated for his valor and leadership on the battlefield, but his declining health in the years following Richard's birth shadowed the family's fortunes. The Black Prince's marriage to Joan of Kent brought additional intrigue to the royal line. Joan, the Fair Maid of Kent, was renowned for her beauty and charm, but was also a figure of controversy due to her previous marriages and entanglements. Despite, or perhaps because of, these complexities, Joan's position as a granddaughter of Edward I further cemented Richard's claim to the throne. Richard's early childhood in Aquitaine offered a cosmopolitan environment where English and French influences intermingled. Immersed in chivalric traditions, he was exposed to ideals of monarchy and governance through both formal education and courtly life. His upbringing instilled in him a strong sense of royal entitlement and the importance of grandeur, traits that would later characterize his reign. Ascension and early rule, a young king confronting a nation's challenges. When Edward the Black Prince succumbed to illness in 1376, the mantle of succession passed to his 10-year-old son, Richard. With the death of Edward III the following year, Richard ascended the throne as a child king, necessitating a regency council to govern on his behalf. This period of minority rule was fraught with factionalism among the nobility, with Richard's uncles, particularly John of Gaunt, Duke of Lancaster, emerging as powerful and often divisive figures. The early years of Richard's reign were marked by the financial strain of the ongoing war with France and the imposition of heavy taxes to fund it. The infamous poll tax of 1380 provoked widespread discontent, culminating in the Peasants' Revolt of 1381. Richard's bold engagement with the rebels at Smithfield, where he famously declared, "I am your king and leader, follow me," showcased his youthful courage and a fleeting ability to assert authority. However, his failure to address the underlying grievances of the uprising revealed the limitations of his leadership. A reign of promise and peril, Richard's vision of kingship. Richard II envisioned a monarchy rooted in divine right, elevating the king's authority above the influence of the nobility. This ambition was reflected in his lavish court culture, his patronage of the arts, and his pursuit of centralized power. His court became a center for literary and artistic innovation, fostering figures such as Geoffrey Chaucer and promoting a sophisticated image of kingship. However, Richard's reliance on a small cadre of favorites, including Robert de Vere and Michael de la Pole, alienated powerful nobles and sowed the seeds of discontent. The merciless Parliament of 1388 marked a turning point, as the Lords Appellant, a coalition of disaffected aristocrats, sought to curtail Richard's authority by executing or exiling many of his closest advisors. In response, Richard consolidated power in the 1390s, initiating a period of personal rule that was characterized by increasing autocracy. His harsh treatment of perceived rivals, including the seizure of estates and the execution of dissenting nobles, deepened resentment among the elite. These actions, combined with his ambitious but costly foreign policies, eroded the support he needed to maintain stability. The fall of a monarch, deposition and legacy. By 1399, Richard's increasingly isolated position made him vulnerable to opposition. Henry Bolingbroke, son of John of Gaunt, capitalized on the king's unpopularity and led a rebellion that culminated in Richard's capture and deposition. Stripped of his crown, Richard was imprisoned and likely murdered, marking a dramatic end to his tumultuous reign. Richard II's fall not only underscored the perils of autocratic rule but also initiated a period of dynastic conflict that would culminate in the Wars of the Roses. His deposition set a precedent for challenging royal authority, reshaping the balance of power between the monarchy and the aristocracy. The birth of Richard II in 1367 was a momentous event that heralded the arrival of a king whose reign would reflect the complexities of medieval England. As the heir of the Black Prince and Joan of Kent, Richard embodied the aspirations and anxieties of a kingdom in transition. His reign was a study in contrasts, visionary yet divisive, courageous yet flawed. Richard II's legacy, though tarnished by his downfall, remains a testament to the enduring challenges of kingship. His life offers profound insights into the dynamics of power, governance, and identity in medieval England. For students of history, Richard's story serves as both a cautionary tale and a window into the intricate interplay of personal ambition and historical forces. Thanks for listening. Like, comment, and subscribe to Medieval Chronicles 1066 for more journeys back to the Middle Ages. Stay curious.